What did she catch her with? Choke? Do you know what kind of choke?
The Darce
choke. Darce choke.
Jasmine is here. Don't forget to tap into the Darce podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for another episode of the Darce podcast. I'm with my guys, Mr. Plus Money, Slick Montana, Cal on the ones and twos. It's your boy Brasco Bets here for another episode breaking down UFC best bets and UFC Fight Night Tampa this week. We're coming off a crazy UFC 310 card, fellas. Absolutely electric. I mean, first of all, Mr. Plus, we got to talk about it. Is Pantoja the flyweight GOAT at this point? Like, it's Demetrius Johnson, we know, Henry Cejudo. Pantoja's making a conversation, is it not?
Absolutely. We said it. We said Pantoja. I mean, I know I did. I had him. I didn't think there was any way that this new guy coming in from Japan was going to rattle the top of the top. Give me Pantoja again and again, and he got it done inside the distance. Only thing I was a little upset about for 310 was and Dana White was upset too, was the Volkov decision, man. I think he got the W, and that ruined a lot of tickets for myself and my team. We bounced back this week, though, on the last card of the year.
Yeah, I think we all had big cards, so good stuff for the last pay-per-view of the year. And Volkov, that was the Darce podcast dog of the week. We all liked Volkov. Absolute gross robbery. Slick, one more question looking back on 310 before we look ahead to UFC Tampa bets. Shavkat versus Gary goes the distance. Shavkat gets it done, 48-47. What do you think? Is he exposed, so to speak? Like, is the boogeyman dead? And do you think Bilal works him? What do you think now about Shavkat after that performance?
I mean, I heard that he went into that performance with into that fight with a torn MCL. You know, he dug it out. At the end of the day, man, I would say that you could tell that he was a little bit hampered, because he's more of a body lock, take you down type of guy. He wasn't really trying to initiate none of that. He was just basically initiating the clinch, making it a close fight. But like I say, man, it wasn't really a robbery. It just wasn't the performance. It's just like Hamza when he fought Burns, you know, like everybody wanted the aura to just keep going. And the next thing you know, he gets a little, you know, not checked. But at the end of the day, Gary is good. So Shavkat I think he'll show a way better performance against Bilal, though.
I think it's fair to say Gary's good. And yeah, Shavkat made to look human, but now face for the title next. So we shall see. Moving on to UFC Tampa bets. And first of all, guys, we got to get on our cars. We got to get on the Mr. Plus parlay bus.
Mr. Plus, parlay bus, bet it all in trust. Jabs and hooks, it's all about the rush. Put it down on the underdog, never hush. Odds stack high, feel the thrill, that's a must. And I'll see you when that shit cashes. Celebrate the wins with
3 fights to talk about right away. Break them down for me, man. What do you got? Oh, and he's on mute.
My bad, boys. I want to get the bus back on the winning track. So these lines are a little crazy this week. We're going with some what I like to call safe plays to create the parlay bus. It's going to be right over plus money. You're going to get even money on it. I think this is good for 2 to 3 units, boys. Leg number 1, we're taking Josephine Knudsen. This girl is gangster on the feet. She gets in close. She keeps distance. But when she's on the feet, it don't matter. She's getting her way with you. I love her little 3-fight win streak, including the Contender Series win. And I just think she's better than Piera Rodriguez, who might want to shoot a takedown or two. But even if she gets the takedown, I think Josephine pops right back up, keeps her distance, knows exactly where this fight needs to be. She's got great fight IQ. I'm going with the smarter fighter, the really up-and-comer. Give me Josephine Knudsen for leg number 1. Leg number 2 of the parlay bus. Man, we've taken this guy so many times before. We're going with Joel Alvarez. And in this fight, don't get me wrong, he's fighting Drakkar Klose, who's usually someone who I'm scared to bet against. But, bro, 5'9", 6'3", reach advantage is insane in this fight. And Joel Alvarez, man, he has his way with opponents. He is violent. Talk about last week, violent. This is, my opinion, one of the most violent fighters on this card. He gets it done inside the distance, and I think he does it again against Drakkar Klose. Give me Joel Alvarez to get us the second leg of the bus. And the third leg should be the easiest leg. Give me Navajo Sterling. I'm a believer. This dude looked great in the Contender Series with that highlight reel knockout, and I think he's going to do it again against Tuco Tucos. I'm just not a fan of this guy. He might have to try and lay and pray, but I think Navajo is going to be even stronger. So even if he does get a takedown or two, he pops right back up. Same thing with the Knudsen fight. Give me Navajo Sterling by destruction. And I'll be honest with you, all three of these fighters could get it done inside the distance. The girl fight, I'm a little skeptical, but still, I think they could all do it.
Boom. Put them all together. You get plus 108 as of right now on Tuesday. Josephine Knudsen, Joel Alvarez, Navajo Sterling. I mean, it's hard to disagree with any of those, Slick. I like all three of those fighters to get wins. Starting off with Josephine Knudsen, first fight of the night here. She's fighting Piera Rodriguez, who's got some boxing skills, got some UFC experience, but I agree with Mr. Plus. I kind of like Josephine Knudsen just kind of grind it out. Wherever the fight goes, she seems to be able to battle through positions and end up on top. Julia Pilastri is a pretty solid fighter, was able to escape out of a submission, turn the tides on her, and end up winning that fight. So after I saw her rally back, I kind of bought into her a little bit. So she's still young and up and coming, like you said, but I think she's got enough. Slick, you think Knudsen gets the win as a favorite here?
Yeah, she's one of those girls that she needs to get hit to get going. Like, she needs to see some type of piece of blood or something to really get going, because this girl just thrives in that second and third round, man. Those second and third rounds, we just know that she's going to bring tons of volume. And she's not one of those stagnant type of girls. She doesn't just hold you against the cage. She's throwing elbows, she's throwing knees, she's making it dirty, and she breaks girls. And we've seen that in the Pilastri fight. Pilastri, like you said, had tons of success with the grappling, and she didn't go to none of that in the second and third round. I think Knudsen stuffed one or two takedowns, and then that's it. She didn't even try to go to it at all. I like Knudsen in this spot. Like you said, I honestly favor what Mr. Plus said. That she might get a finish in that second and third round. So let's see. I'm gonna wait for odds, but if I get like plus 1,000 for those second and third rounds, man, I'm definitely gonna take a little sprinkle.
Piera Rodriguez, someone who makes mental mistakes. In fact, she got disqualified in her last fight against Ariane Carnelossi. She was up. She got frustrated with something. I don't know. She threw a headbutt and got DQ'd. It was pretty blatant, too. So, yeah, Rodriguez, not someone I want to back. Next one up, Joel Alvarez. Oh, my God. Violence. Slick, he's got 21 professional wins, 21 finishes. Nobody that has lost to him has survived the whole way. So, Drakkar Klose, kind of wrestler, boxer, veteran guy. I mean, stylistically, what's he going to do? You going to wrestle Alvarez? Even if he takes him down, he get caught in a triangle. If he strikes with him, Alvarez's kickboxing's gotten way better. Rangy, like Mr. Plus said, snappy now. I mean, Drakkar Klose got to be in trouble, don't you think?
Yeah, this is just a tough spot for Drakkar Klose. That the one thing that I hate about Drakkar Klose in a lot of his fights is he always makes a mistake. He knows that he has the fight on the feet, then he tries to go to wrestling. He knows he can out-wrestle people, then he gets outstruck on the feet. And that's one thing that I dislike about, and I told myself too, like 3-4 fights ago, I will not bet against Joel Alvarez unless he fights a huge power puncher that will probably lay him out cold, and that'll probably be somebody in the top 5 or something. So till then, I'm not betting against him, man. I'm going with Joel Alvarez. And like Mr. Plus said, I think he gets the finish. One thing I like about him too is he's an opportunistic type of guy, man. He loves to snatch those guillotines any moment he gets. He likes to get that triangle from the bottom or armbar any opportunity he gets. So this is just going to be a wait for it moment. Like, oh my God, Drakkar Klose takes him down. Next thing you know, he's in the armbar. Or Drakkar Klose hits him with a good shot. Then he gets elbowed. And then next thing you know, Joel Alvarez finishes the fight. It's just, I'm telling you, this is going to be wait for it moment in any of Joel Alvarez fights. So yeah, I'm definitely going Joel Alvarez.
He's a huge favorite. So if you think he wins, you think he wins by finish, because 21 times it's happened in his wins. So I like it, man. Yeah, I think club and sub, that's how I see it. I agree. Drakkar Klose is not where the hype train stops for Joel Alvarez. And then the last one, Navajo Sterling. Slick, he's only 5-0, but coming out of City Kickboxing, he might be the next young guy up out of that gym, producing dangerous strikers. Do you think the hype is real on Navajo Sterling, who all of a sudden Mr. Plus got him in at minus 500, chalky? He's up to minus 700. Is he worth the hype?
Yeah, man, he's definitely worth the hype. Like you say, he's one of those City Kickboxing prospects. outside of Kevin Doucette, man, because Kevin Doucette had a lot of hype, and the next thing you know, he got derailed by Brian Battle. But the one thing I love about Sterling, man, is that he knows when to attack. He takes his time with his counter punching, and when he blitzes or he throws any type of punches, his combinations are just so smooth. Tuco's, I faded him his last fight against Umar Sy, betted Umar Sy by sub. Umar Sy got the sub. I'm gonna be betting Sterling by KO. And also, I see lines are out for Bet Rivers. Fight to not go the distance at minus 286 is probably a perfect parlay piece because this is just like what round is Sterling gonna get it done at? It's not about is Umar Tuco's gonna survive, because if Sterling hits him with a good shot, the follow-ups from Sterling is just so devastating. So yeah, Sterling by KO, and the fight to not go to decision has a good parlay piece.
There you go. A couple plays for you in that fight. Mr. Plus, love what you're putting down for the parlay bus. That's going to come through for us this weekend. All aboard. And we got a couple more fights to talk about, putting them together for a two-leg parlay, a little remix for this week's Slick Report.
Philly in the game, and you know we on time. Slick Reports coming, ain't never gonna stop. MMA cappers with the knowledge and the flow. From the East Coast where the fighters all grow. Getting that paper like a Philly bankroll. Rocking every fight, keep the audience on hold. Confidence.
And, it might be a little chalky, but you got two fighters that you feel pretty good about too. Who do you got for this week's Slick Report?
Yeah, man, we got a little derailed with Max Griffin last week, but hey, nonetheless, that was a pick'em fight. Damn near, we took the wrong side of the coin. At the end of the day, we're going for another 10-plus streak. Let's keep it going, man. We're going first leg. We're going with Felipe Lima. A lot of hype again on this guy, man. Coming out of that I forgot. I'm blanking right now. I forgot what gym right now. But he has a lot of hype, man. He came in on like 3 days' notice against a tough guy, and Naimov, his last fight, showed that he has great cardio, because to come in on days' notice and just that pace that fight had, both guys throwing 100-plus strikes, and Lima just being able to get the finish in the third round just showed me his toughness. I got to go with Lima in this spot. I think Miles Johns throws too many looping shots. I think Lima's straight punches is going to be the first to hit. And our second leg, we're gonna go with a known girl, man. She's been cashing for us nonstop. We're gonna go Miranda Maverick money line. This is just, for me personally, this is just a fade Horf type of fight. I faded her last fight. She got gifted the win because the fight was in Canada. Everybody and their mom knows that she lost that fight as like a minus 240 favorite. She definitely lost that fight. I always thought she was trash, so I'm fading her with a much better all-around girl and Miranda Maverick. I think she wins this fight any way she wants. She could outstrike Horf on the feet. She could out-grapple Horf. But I'm going to take a little small sprinkle. I'm waiting for odds by Miranda Maverick by sub. I've been seeing that she's been trying to get the grappling going a lot of her last couple fights, but she's been fighting some good decorated grapplers in their own right, you know? So I think she takes Horf down, gets like an arm bar or arm triangle, and you catch that. That's minus 145 when I bet it. It's probably like minus 150 right now with the odds moving on Miranda Maverick. But I think that's a solid two-leg for us to cash another Slick Report for the last card of the year.
Let's go, man. Last card of the year. We got to come through strong. And you're going with Felipe Lima and Miranda Maverick. So Lima, to start it off, Mr. Plus, he looked interesting in his last fight against Muhammad Naimov. And he had to rally against him. It was a good competitive fight, but he showed a lot. He showed grit. He showed toughness. And he showed grappling skill that we didn't know he had. He was billed as a striker, but got that rear naked choke against a tough guy, tough grappler. So it's like, I don't know. He's Brazilian. I think he's a shoot the box guy. I know there are a lot of guys on this card that are fighting out of the All-Stars gym in Sweden. It's a number of those guys. I'm not sure if he trains there. That's what you're talking about. But Mr. Plus, what do you think about Felipe Lima in this spot?
Yeah, man, at 145, Miles Johns is coming up in weight to fight Felipe Lima. So just realize that this guy weighs in a little bit larger. He might be a little bit of a bigger guy. I like Lima, man. He's got some uncanny grappling power that we didn't even see from him. We thought this guy was going to be a striker, but I like him, man. He's got the youth, too. 26 years old versus a what is that, a 30-year-old Johns? And Johns feels like a real old 31-year-old. This guy's been around the UFC for a minute. Don't get me wrong, I like his experience, 15-2 record. But this Felipe Lima kid's 13-1 isn't padded. They say he's fought some really good prospects, and he's supposed to be an up-and-comer from Brazil. Kind of got to get behind the Brazilian here. So I like what Slick's putting down. And then, of course, Miranda Maverick. I was on the other side of the Horth fight as well. Who was that? Petrovic. And I thought we absolutely won that fight. And unfortunately, we got robbed. So, yeah, I'm with you, Slick. We're getting some vengeance here. We're getting our revenge. Miranda Maverick's going to do it for us. She might be the shorter of the two, but she's got the wide body. She's strong. She's got the throws. She's got the grappling advantage. She's definitely got the ground game going. And I think that's where a lot of this fight might be, is on the ground and Horth not being able to get up. So give me Miranda Maverick as well. I'm all in on the Slick report.
Salute to the Slick report. How do you not like it? Miranda Maverick as well. You guys convinced me for Ivana Petrovic in the last one. I ended up sprinkling a little quarter unit bullshit. She definitely beat Horth. Horth is really nothing to write home about. And Miranda Maverick, more athletic, faster, better everywhere. Should win an easy work. I want her to see her get a finish here. Hopefully she gets the sub. And Cal, producer, commenting to us that yes, in fact, it was All Stars gym for Felipe Lima, which has a lot of fighters on this card. So it'll be interesting. All right, guys, on to the final segment from the crew. It's the Brasco breakdown.
Brasco's breakdown. Brasco's breakdown.
And this week, I'm going with an underdog, fellas. This is a matchup that some people might be afraid to touch, but I'm going for it. I'm taking Fernando Padilla to defeat Sean Woodson. Now, Fernando Padilla is a guy that I've been betting on and watching pretty closely since he came into the UFC. I bet him as an underdog against Julian Erosa in his debut. He smoked Erosa right away, so we got to know this guy right away. He became a big favorite, and I watched him in UFC Fight Noche in Las Vegas live when he fought Kyle Nelson and just got the veteran's lesson, right? Kyle Nelson was sharp that night. He was hitting him with low kicks, checking kicks too, hurt Padilla's legs. And I keep saying it, that night, it was like hitting a metal box and just hurting yourself. Nelson was razor sharp with the Muay Thai style. So Padilla lost that one. I saw him in the casino later, walking out on crutches. And I think he's got value as an underdog again here. He got a bounce back win in his last one. And now he's fighting a guy in Sean Woodson that is a tricky, rangy, very long, lanky boxer. What we know, he's always got the huge reach advantage and height advantage at featherweight. But that's not the case in this matchup. Padilla's got the long, lanky frame as well. He's only at a 2-inch reach disadvantage and only an inch shorter than him. So I don't think you're going to see that same sort of style that on the outside that Woodson so effectively uses against his much shorter featherweight opponents normally. I think Padilla will be able to move forward, bring some pressure. And although, Woodson is tricky and crafty, you'll probably style on him for a little bit, find his scores, find his little shots. He only has one knockout in 8 UFC fights. He's not all that dangerous. I think if Padilla can just march through and land a couple big shots, he can steal some rounds. He's a tricky grappler too. So if they do grapple, watch out for Padilla to find some control. I think you bring the fight to Woodson, who, again, has 3 split decisions in the UFC, a split draw with Luis Saldana. Remember that fight? He got dropped by Saldana. Certainly gotten better since then, but split with Charles Jourdain as well. He can get beat. He's eked by, and he's 12-1-1, so he's damn good. I like Sean Woodson, but I think he can get beat. So another way you can play this as well is Fernando Padilla finish only. I think that's about -150. So if it goes to decision, then the bet is void. Like I said, Woodson not having the finishing upside there, so that's an interesting way to play it. But I'm going with Fernando Padilla to prove he doesn't deserve to be a dog in this spot. And I'm interested to hear what the fellas think. Mr. Plus, what do you think about Sean Woodson? Do you think he can outstrike him?
Yeah, I'm a big Woodson guy, Brasco. I've been betting on this guy. He's been making me money. He gets these sneaky little wins and split decisions. And man, he always seems to outpoint him, and he's really good in the clinch too. Let's not forget, this guy can put you in the clinch, hit you with those sharp elbows. When you're as skinny as lanky as he is, elbows, shoulders. The shoulder strikes hurt, man, and he's got really good shoulder strikes. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm a little scared for this one. The reason I'm also scared is because I can never seem to get Padilla right. I know I was on Julian Erosa when that fight happened and he got smoked. And then the next fight, I gave Padilla a shot and he gets beat up. And like you just said, basically schooled by Kyle Nelson. The next fight, I laid off. And then, of course, he gets the Darce choke. Go figure. And by the way, since we started this podcast, I feel like I don't know if there's something in the air, but there's been way more Darce chokes than I've ever seen before. There's almost one every week. I don't know, Brasco. I love the breakdown that you gave us, and you're kind of pulling me over to that side. However, I gotta lean Woodson for now, and of course, I want to watch him weigh in, and then I'll probably have my official pick for this fight. But definitely going to be electric, definitely going to be exciting, definitely a great stylistic matchup, and of course, if Padilla slip. Bang! He's got the power, so it could happen. But if he doesn't get that shot, I gotta feel like Woodson by decision.
And that is what the most likely outcome I think people will be predicting is, because that's how Sean Woodson gets it done, Slick. But you mentioned Julian Erosa. You mentioned Darce chokes aplenty. Padilla's got slick grappling. Hey, what's Sean Woodson's one UFC loss? A Darce choke by Julian Erosa. So, Slick, I don't know if they grapple. You think Padilla can catch him with something, or how do you see this fight playing out? Oh, and Slick's muted. All right, it's Plus and Slick.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to take the Padilla side in this fight. I'm just hoping that he comes out here with a striking game plan because he has good striking. The one thing that we know about Woodson, that he likes to keep it clean, likes it to be on his pace. And I honestly, whenever I watch this fight, watch tape, I just looked at guys that damn near had close to like one like less than 1 inch reach disadvantage or something similar to Woodson, and he struggled in every single one of those fights. Luis Aldana, like you said, knocked him down. He fought Julian Erosa, had a long reach, ended up getting the Darce. He fought Alex Caceres his last time out, and me personally, I really think that he lost that fight. He got the fight because he's a St. Louis type of guy. The fight was in St. Louis. In the end, I think all three St. Louis guys that fought on that card won their fight by decision. So I think Padilla, if he comes out here with a game plan that he just wants to hurt Woodson on the feet instead of just trying to come out here with a grappling heavy game plan, then I think he definitely could land something. So yeah, I'm gonna take Padilla in this spot, and I think he finishes Woodson. I'm gonna take him by KO or so.
Yeah, I like it, man. I think he finds the shot too. I totally agree. Woodson trying to play that game on the outside, tiki-taka, find his rhythm, and it just gets stopped by pressure, right? Pressure breaks the rhythm. Padilla can do it, man. He's got the power advantage, and he's got the toughness advantage too. I didn't mention that Padilla never been finished in his pro career either. So, yeah, let's go, Padilla. Bring the fight to Woodson. I like that you're on it too, Slick, and going with a dog for this week's Brasco breakdown. Cal liking it too as well, seems like. All right, guys, we did the Brasco breakdown. We did the Slick report. We did the Mr. Plus parlay bust. That means it's time for the main event of the evening. We've got to talk about Joaquin Buckley taking on Colby Covington. Colby, still relevant? Ridiculous. We'll see if he has something left. In his last one out against Leon Edwards, he claims he broke his foot, and that's why he had the dud of a performance. Really just didn't get going and did a whole lot of nothing until, the last round. Leon was content just fighting on the outside, scoring, not doing all that much either. And now he comes in here off a fight against the former champion, against Buckley, a guy that's rising up really quickly up this division and quickly bidding after a knockout over Stephen Thompson in impressive fashion in the third round. Really bidding to be a potential contender here. So, Slick, what are you thinking? Buckley, almost a minus 300 favorite against the wrestler Covington. He's going to have to defend takedowns probably, right? You think he can stave him off and use that power and that physicality? Or you think Covington is a veteran that's an underdog worth taking a shot on?
Yeah, man, I definitely had a hard time in this spot picking one of these guys, but I honestly believe that all the value is on Kobe Covington in this spot. Just looking at what he has done in his career, if he comes out of here, actually, and the one concern about that Leon Edwards fight was that he had a huge layoff waiting to get that fight. He came in there with a lot of rust. Now he's trying to be active. Me personally, just to see Kobe Covington not fight somebody that's not top three or top five is just like it's just crazy. And for him to accept, because I would have thought like, oh yeah, I'm only gonna fight these top five guys. Him keep maybe have like a Usman versus him or trilogy or whatever. So I think all the value is on him. He has been in there in 5 rounds, and we see the old Kobe Covington. Not even the old Kobe Covington. I would just say the Kobe Covington that we last seen against Usman in their last fight, because it was Usman and then Edwards. So I mean, yeah, Usman then Edwards. So I think this is a good spot for him. We've seen him in 5 rounds. If he keeps that pace. One thing I didn't like about Buckley in his last fight was that he was just waiting and waiting and waiting for his opportunity to get that big shot. Kobe Covington never been KO'd outside of that crazy dumb stoppage that Mark, I forgot who did it, but against Usman. So I think this is a good spot for Kobe Covington to put his name back out there. And maybe Buckley lands a big shot, but I just don't believe it. Buckley comes out here with because we have seen Buckley come out with some wrestling, with some grappling game plans as of late. So if he comes out here with that type of game plan, I think Kobe Covington could definitely stifle it, have him in those grappling exchanges, and just end up on top in the exchange. So I think all the value is on Kobe Covington. I might end up sprinkling it, but I see this number going up on Buckley, so I might wait to bet it. I might wait to bet it probably to like the last 30, 40 minutes of the fight. So yeah, but I think all the value is on Kobe.
There you go. You think the dog has value. And, Buckley, yeah, like you said, market's going up, Mr. Plus, minus 300. That's kind of crazy. But, Colby Covington's a guy that's fighting once a year. His last win, 2022, over Jorge Masvidal, a guy that just got out wrestled, right? I mean, Buckley's got grappling skill. Buckley's got dangerous power. You want to close distance on him, you might get cracked. And this version of Buckley's been cracking people. So what do you think? You think he can beat Colby here and prove to be worthy of a minus 300 tag?
Yeah, the only way I'm putting chips on Colby Covington is if he's the last leg of 3 or 4 parlay to bust. Basically, if Buckley's my last leg, I got 3 or 4 parlays going. Buckley's going to cash them all. Maybe I'll sprinkle a little bit on Colby Covington. Other than that, I'm not putting any chips on this guy. I don't like his attitude. I don't like his demeanor. I don't like how he talks. I don't like how he fucking looks. I don't like this 36, 37-year-old Colby Covington. I don't like his activity. I don't care who he's fought when he was fresh and young. Since Joaquin Buckley's moved down to 170, he's been unbeatable. I don't think Colby disrupts that trend. I think Joaquin Buckley wins easily, and I think he knocks him out. I think this is a KO knockout. I think this is a bad, brutal beating for Colby Covington and a wake-up call to say maybe you shouldn't be doing this anymore, and the activity's low for a reason. I don't care that he fought 11 months ago and lost. Before that, like Brasco just said, 3 years ago was his last win. Before that, another L, and his other win besides that was 4 years ago. Joaquin Buckley, on the other hand, has been beating the shit out of everybody for the last year and a half. I'm going Buckley all day, all night. Bro, he should be minus 1,000 bags.
Wow. 1,000. I mean, I don't know about that, but I know it's the point you're making. And you think Colby is cooked, washed, irrelevant. He's been more relevant just smack talking than he has actually in the octagon. But I think Buckley beats him slick. I see what you mean just for the odds. They are kind of crazy. But yeah, I think Buckley's up to the task. I think he's ready for it. I know that he was swinging kind of, Wonder Boy was beating him actually. And he was swinging kind of wild. But he stuck with his plan. He stayed with the pressure. He found the shot. And he can do that to guys. So I wonder if Colby Covington's chin is still there, if he can wrestle effectively for rounds and rounds. And I don't know. We'll see. But Cal in the chat saying it's a level check situation here, which means that he agrees with Slick. Could be a spot for the veteran. We'll see how the main event plays out. We'll see if he's up to the task. We'll see if Colby still got something left in the tank here. And now that we've debated and gone against each other in the main event, let's come back together as a team to lace up a Darce parlay.
What did she catch her with? Choke? Do you know what kind of choke?
The Darce
Darce choke.
And last week, we cashed our Darce parlay. Plus 128. This week it's plus 137, so maybe that's our sweet spot. Mr. Plus, kick it off. Who's the first leg?
Darce parlay, we're going to get the fucking bag this week. It's easy money for the Darce. I'm sticking with Joel Alvarez. I want to get us an easy fucking leg. This should be easy. I'll be honest, I was debating telling the boys to take Joel Alvarez inside the distance because that's the only way he knows how to win. So maybe we want to do that instead for my leg. But regardless, for this segment's sake, give me Joel Alvarez, easy W money line for my leg.
Yeah, props aren't out yet on Tuesday. So he's up to minus 400 now. The line's climbing. Maybe if we want to get better value, like we said, 21 wins, 21 finishes. Just take him inside the distance for better line. Slick, who is your leg?
Well, I'm going to a prop with this in the main event. I think the main event at least makes it past 10 minutes. Fight to start round 3. I think it's a good spot. I know a lot of people probably going to think the fight ends. I think if it ends in the later rounds. Fight start round 3. All we need is 2 rounds. As soon as the fight starts round 3, we cash.
Fight to start round 3. I like that. I like those round props there. And yeah, I agree. Both guys tough enough. Should be grappling heavy. That fight's going deep. I like that one too. So I'm going to go with a fight we haven't talked about. The veteran, Michael Johnson. And he's fighting a guy that is straight up on fade alert. I think you guys will agree. Otman Azaitar. I'm not sure if he's UFC caliber. And after the smuggling potatoes scandal, which was probably cocaine or steroids or something like that, man, this guy has not been worth a bet. He's been worth fading. Of course, he's got power in his hands. He's in the UFC for a reason, right? He's got some MMA skill. But I think Michael Johnson is going to show he's a level above him, who's shared the octagon with Khabib, and Justin Gaethje has a win back in the day over Dustin Poirier. I know 38-year-old Michael Johnson is not that same guy. And we worry about his chin. If that's the one thing. A couple fights ago against Diego Ferreira, a guy not necessarily known for his power, got knocked out cold with the right hand. But prior to that, he was looking sharp. He was piecing Ferreira up. And after that, he got a bounce-back win against Darius Flowers, a guy that can cracks, got some power too. So I think Johnson still got it. And I think that he'll show that he's just not even – he's a level above a Zaitar, who's just – going to get pieced up by him. So yams, the yams were snuck in, says Cal in the chat. And yes, it was steroids hidden in yams. Are we fading Otman Azaitar, Slick? Is he just auto fade for you?
Yeah, I always told myself that, like, I'm not going to fade a fighter with a fighter that I always want to fade. You know, like, I always told myself that, you know, I always try to, you know, I leaned Michael Johnson in his last couple fights, but I think I pulled the trigger on him against forgot that guy on short notice. Flowers.
Darius Flowers, yeah.
I bet on him against Flowers. But man, at the end of the day, there's one thing about both these guys, and Zaitar doesn't fit none of it. At least Michael Johnson, at least smart with his shots, try to pick his shots, just doesn't engage in Hail Mary, hook brawls. That's what Zaitar is. He's not calculated. And Michael Johnson, man, for what you know, I actually follow Michael Johnson on Instagram. One thing that guy stays, man, all those knockouts, all those fights that he's been, he stays in the gym. He trains with a lot of good guys. I believe he's at Killcliff, so he trains with a lot of good guys. So I believe he gets the fight done. And hey, man, Michael Johnson, we need that KO back again, man. We need a Michael Johnson KO in this spot.
No, let's go. He's got hands, man. He might remind everyone. Yeah, Zaitar, sloppy with the technique, and good point. Johnson, UFC Tampa. He's at home, chilling at Killcliff FC, training right there. So Mr. Plus, think Michael Johnson, easy work.
Yeah, I like that. Rangy, snappy, got the better stand-up. Azaitar, you know, he had that huge layoff. 4 years ago, he fought and he won. Then he came back 2 years later, lost to Frivola, the Steamroller, friend of the pod. And then, of course, loses to Prado. So I think he's going to be on the same losing trend. Man, there's levels. And when you take 2 years off and try to come back, and let's be, guys, I'm going to be real bluntly honest here. Michael Johnson is, 38 years old? Yeah, okay, but Azaitar is 35 years old. They're almost the same age, 3 year difference. Difference is Michael Johnson is black. and black people age a lot slower than white people.
Black
So
don't crack.
as they
yeah,
say.
black don't crack. We've all heard this. It's real shit. Michael Johnson's gonna beat the shit out of Otman Azaitar. Is what I got here. I like the knockout. I think he's still got hands. He's still got stones in his hands. Michael Johnson. So give me the knockout. I think he gets the job done. I love it on the Dars.
Insane analysis from Mr. Plus there. Dars Parlay plus 137 for you this week. I think we're going back to back, fellas. Let's get it done. And let's move on to some more plus money in the dogs of the week. And we're going to kick it off with Mr. Plus. It's a fight early on this card. Man, you better get it hot if you still want plus money on this because the odds are moving. It looks like it's damn near a pick 'em now. Who do you have?
Yeah, I think the money's going to keep coming in on this guy, too. I'm taking Davy Grant. I know he's a little bit older, too. We got some older fighters on this card, I'll be honest with you. A lot of upper 30s. A lot of guys making me feel like I should get back in the gym at 36. I'll be honest. 38-year-old Davy Grant, going to be 39 soon, taking on 30-year-old Tavares, who, I mean, don't get me wrong, Tavares against the CD Sai when he came back and got him in the split decision. Even in the first fight, he looked okay against them. He won on Contender Series. I think this is the level check, Cal, on the ones and twos. Davy Grant is still Davy Grant, and I just think he's going to be too much. This guy's relentless on the feet. He's got great fight IQ, takes the fight wherever he needs to be, and let's be honest, he's got some grappling game as well. He got that submission, the inverted arm triangle. I still like Davy Grant. I don't know where he's been. I know he's been gone for a year and 5 months, but my cutoff on the not being active is really around that 2-year mark. So I do still think he's got some fight in him. He's back for a reason. I could see him getting this job done, man. And again, it's for me, it's the experience that's going to take him to take him home.
Davy Grant, yeah, coming in here in an interesting matchup against the boxer Ramon Tavares, and you like him, Mr. Plus. He last fight is coming off that split loss against Daniel Marcos, where he probably deserved to win. I don't know if Marcos did too much. I got to rewatch that one, but I remember it being controversial. Prior to that, 2 back-to-back wins. He beat the crap out of Luis Smoka, and like you said, came back against Rafael Assunção, cracked him in like a weird sequence, and then triangle choked him, inverted triangle choke. So he's got mad skill. Slick Tavares, though, pretty slick boxer. I wonder why this is just a pick 'em. Do you think Grant should be the bigger favorite?
I mean, it's a coin flip fight at the end of the day. You know, you got a veteran in Grant against an up and coming type boxer in Tavares, quick hands. And that, you know, I wanted to take either guy, but I just see a discrepancy for both guys. Like, you know, you got Tavares that's probably going to be the more faster type of guy, more faster to the punch. You know, Davy Grant, for what we know, is that this guy walks through punches. He eats a lot of punches with his face. And then the thing about Tavares is that he doesn't have a good chin either. You know, he's one of those guys that has been knocked out in his losses. And that's the one concern is, like, if you don't get the knockout on Davy Grant, there might be a world where Davy Grant knocks him out. So I lean Davy Grant just because we've seen him against good guys like Marlon Vera. And me personally, you don't even need to watch that fight. I actually had 2 units on Marcos at minus 115, I think it was, against Davy Grant, and I believed he lost. So
yeah,
at the end of the day, Davy Grant has shown us that veteranness. I'm just concerned about his defense in this spot. You know, I want Davy Grant to come out there, implement that good leg kick that he has been doing his last couple fights, and stop Tavares from getting that combinations going. Because once Tavares get the combinations going, it might be night for Davy Grant because he's not going to see what punch is coming next. He's going to be the slower fighter in the fight. But I think he's the more power punches that's going to come is going to come from Davy Grant. So I'm going to slightly lean to Davy Grant, but I'm going to take the fight to not go the distance. I think both guys end up having an avenue to get a knockout. But I'm going to leave Davy Grant because I just seen more from him.
Damn, interesting. All right, hopefully this fight produces some fireworks. I'll be rooting for Davy Grant too. I agree. Yeah, Tavares definitely the boxing advantage inside with the hands, but Grant's gonna have the kicks at range, and he can use those kicks effectively. He did last fight, so yeah, maybe spin kicks coming. Maybe Grant puts on a veteran performance. I'll definitely be rooting for him too. Slick, Who is your dog of the week? We might be in agreement here.
Yeah, we're going with the old veteran, Cub Swanson. Well, I'm not even going to say old veteran because he's fighting another old veteran,
Yeah.
and Billy Q. So I just think this is a good opportunity for Cub Swanson. He's been fighting a lot of up-and-comer guys, guys that are durable and stuff like that. Now he's fighting a guy that's a little bit less durable in Billy Q. He has been known for his toughness the last couple fights, before his last couple fights. And now he's just I wouldn't say he's deteriorating because he's still Billy Q. But the one thing I noticed about him is that he has gotten real slow with his movements. He's just not that one Billy Q that he's always that one guy that throws that one punch and just tries to blitz you and stuff like that. I just haven't seen too much from him. What I've seen from Cub Swanson is that he still has that quick boxing, that good what's that word? Fluidity in boxing. And I think that's good. That's a detriment for a guy like Billy Q that wants to fight dirty, wants to get in that clinch, make it ugly and stuff. I think Cub Swanson gets the stops the grappling from Billy Q because Billy Q does have grappling in his back pocket. And just I would say be quicker on the feet, be more power puncher, one good counter puncher as well on his side. So I think this is a bad matchup for Billy Q, even though Cub Swanson has been on the downward spiral. But he's been fighting a lot of young guys that are durable. I don't think Billy Q is durable anymore. He's been cracked with a lot of big shots as of late. So I think this is a good spot for Cub Swanson. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he signed like a 4-fight deal too before this fight. So you showing UFC still wants him. I'm a definitely take Cub Swanson in this spot plus 135.
That's great to know. Yeah, the line's moving up to plus 135 now, and I might wait a second too, but bro, I couldn't agree more. I love the breakdown there, and I also love Cub Swanson. Like you said, Billy Q's style is just that tough, grind it out, make it ugly. If you can't take damage anymore, he's had a long career where he's sustained a ton of damage with that fight style. You just get, what's your game plan? And like you said, he looked slower. He looked to step off. Yusef Zalal beat the crap out of him. I know Zalal's pretty damn good, but again, another fight where he took bad damage. And Swanson, slick striker, still fighting guys like Hakeem Dawodu to a really close fight. Andre Feely to a really close fight. Those are good fighters. I put them a level above where Billy Q is at right now. Mr. Plus, I think Swanson worth the plus money shot. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Billy Q has CTE, and I'm really worried about him, man. He shouldn't be fighting in the UFC anymore, man. I don't think he got slower. I think his brain is fucked up. Well, he did get slower because his brain is fucked up. Man, this is a bad spot. Cub Swanson's 5 years older than him at 41 years old and going to be looking in better shape. Probably going to have the better stamina. Which is crazy to say against a guy that's 5 years younger than you. But yeah, man, Billy Q, man, I wonder if this guy can do anything else. Is he just taking these fights because he needs money? Like, what's actually going on here? Yeah, Cub Swanson, bro, all day.
Billy Q, I mean, what's it? He's both these guys. He's 18-6, 36 years old. Cub Swanson, like you said, a lot of vets on this card. 38 years old, 29-14. Yet Swanson, the more durable and fresher guy, seems like that we're ready to back. So there you have it. Sometimes the older guy is the spot that you want. It seems like that in this one. We like the dog, Cub. And there's your dogs of the week. Davey Grant from Mr. Plus and me and Slick both like Cub Swanson. All right, it's time to talk about the fights we haven't talked about, the honorable mentions. And a couple that are definitely big ticket fights, at least on this card, are worth talking about. Manel Kape taking on Bruno Silva at flyweight. That's a good banger there. I mean, Manel Kape looking to rebound after that loss to Muhammad Mokaev with all the beef that happened and the fight played out super boring. I want to see Manel Kape put hands on someone. And Slick, we saw Bruno Silva get pieced up by Cody Durden, Mr. Plus's boy, before he landed that counterpunch and ended up winning the fight. So do you think that Manel Kape's striking is going to be too much for him and he ends up putting him away potentially?
Yeah, this is a fight that I was completely shocked by the odds, man. Minus 400 damn near for Manel Kape. Because I think, honestly, Manel Kape is starting to trend in that territory of the Kevin Hollands of the world. That when you expect him to do good, he just doesn't. When you expect him to run through somebody, he just doesn't. Like, this is a guy that a lot of people expected him to run through Daniel Santos. Next thing you know, he clearly won the fight, but it was a close ass fight. He ran. I don't know what the fuck that was with Mokaev, because even before he broke his toe in the second round, he threw like 3 punches. Like in a fight that against a wrestler, you were stuffing all his takedowns and you still didn't throw no punches. I was thinking a little bit of hesitancy of taking Bruno Silva, but I think I'm gonna just take the shot on Manel Kape by KO in this spot, because, like you said, one concern about Bruno Silva is that he likes to eat one to give one. He likes to get his read real quick, and I just don't think he's going to be able to get a good read on Manel Kape. But against like the top 3 guys, I think I might fade Manel Kape. Like if he fights Pantoja or like Brandon Royval or Brandon Moreno or something, I might fade him. But right now, I think he takes care of Silva.
I think so too. I think Manel Kape's a level above him. What do you think, Mr. Plus?
I mean, I want to say there's levels, but at the end of the day, Cops canceled bouts are more fucking impressive than the people that he's actually fought. So I just want to throw that out there. Again, Manel Cop's canceled bouts, his canceled fights are more impressive, those fighters, than the fighters he's actually fought. Let's be honest. Who's the best fighter that he beat? Felipe Dos Santos? I mean, it's definitely not Zalal Zalagumas or whatever the fuck. Bro, I don't know, man. I'm on the fence with this one. I don't like the line. I'm with Slick. Um, eh, you know, I lean Manel Kape to get back in the win column, but yeah, after I saw Cody Durden piecing this dude up, Bruno Silva, and he was relentless, and then got him with that punch. I mean, bro. I mean, he's got power for this little guy division, the flyweights. I'm not sold on it. Man, Manel Kape, what a letdown on that last fight. That shit sucked. He said he had broken toes. Never confirmed. Man, this is a stay away from me. I'm like dog or pass. I don't even want to put Kape in any parlays.
I could understand that. And Cal feeling similarly. He says that with the question marks that Kape is presented, he shouldn't be over minus 200. And I don't think I want to parlay him either, but I do think he gets it done here. I mean, he needs to make a statement after these last couple fights, like you guys said, not really showing up under the bright lights against competition that he should be a level above. So find that highlight knockout, get back in the picture. I'll give you the one guy that is impressive on his record. He knocked out Kai Asakura, whatever we want to think about him after Pantoja disposed of him, but pretty good fighter. So there you go. Kape, let's see what you got here. Big favorite. And we also have to talk about a really interesting light heavyweight fight. Dustin Jacoby taking on Vitor Petrino. Petrino, huge favorite here. I mean, minus 300 something range. Jacoby plus 260, Mr. Plus. He's a pretty damn skilled kickboxer. I'm thinking, though, he might get out grappled. Petrino's just physical with it, right? How do you think this fight plays out, and how would you bet it?
This is a really tough one to cap and to try and handicap. Dustin Jacoby, before he was on this little rut of lost his last 4 out of the last 5. I mean, he was doing work. He was up. He was moving up. I don't know, man. This Vitor Petrino, it feels like they want to just put him in spots to beat decent names so he can work his way into the top 15. And this is one of the ways in there. I mean, Dustin Jacoby probably, 18, 19 on Tapology? I mean, this is your way. This is your next guy. Man, yeah, you're right, Brasco. Vitor Petrino might be able to lay and pray a little bit, but this guy's pretty active from the top too. He's kind of a pit bull in there where he's got the pressure. He'll do anything to try and get the win, right? So I like that dog. I like that fight in the dog, excuse me. I also, again, like the youth factor here. You're 10 years younger. You're on your way up. He's on his way out. Not to mention he's a Brazilian dude. I mean, we usually like the Brazilian and the Russian dude. So, again, I'm going to go with Vitor Petrino on this, just like Brasco. I'm not huge on it, and I want him to get it done inside the distance. But Dustin Jacoby's a little bit tricky. He's got that stand-up kickboxing, real rangy, keeps his distance, real nice in the clinch, can get you in there, hit you with elbows, hit you with shoulder shots, hit you with knees. So, yeah, I'm not all in on it, but I'm leaning Vitor Petrino for sure.
I like the breakdown for sure, though. Yeah, it makes sense. And Slick, I think Petrino deserves to be the favorite. Maybe not this big of a favorite, but, he got caught in his last one against Anthony Smith, so people might be down on him after he got guillotined. no such threat from Dustin Jacoby, the pure striker. So how do you think Petrino looks to fight? Do you think he wrestles him and gets it done?
I mean, I don't think he has to, because the one thing that we know about Jacoby's career is that he beats guys that he's not able to get hit by. Like he's one of those guys that if he could keep a clean fight and not get hit as much, he's gonna win the fight. And all of his losses just say opposite. Like against Khalil Roundtree, he lost because the guy was landing the bigger punches. Against Asama, Asama was landing the bigger punches. Against Alonzo Menafield, he was landing the bigger punches. And I think this could be a fight that Jacoby probably throws 5 punches and Vitor Petrino throws one, but Petrino shot wobbles or makes Jacoby move backwards or something, makes the crowd go ooh, and then Jacoby loses a fight. So, or he gets out grappled. I think this is a clear spot for Vitor Petrino. He could get the grappling going. And the one thing I like Mr. Plus said, man, he's real active on top. He's not really just looking to lay and pray. He's looking to get the half guard. One thing I like about him too is that he's starting to get the grappling going with the submissions. He like against Marcin Pragnia. Everybody and their mom thought he was just gonna lay and pray in that fight. Nah, he started getting his transitions going, got the arm triangle in that spot. So I think this is a perfect spot for Petrino. As long as he doesn't fight nobody that has a guillotine, I'm gonna keep betting this guy.
That's simple. I like how you said it. Facing Jacoby as a power puncher, guy that's lost to power punchers and getting better, more dangerous on the ground. Cal hitting us with a stat. Petrino's averaged 4 takedowns a fight since being in the UFC. So if you think he gets a takedown on Jacoby, I think Jacoby probably stays there. So I like Petrino for those reasons too. Love it, guys. What else we got? Parlay piece, I think. What else we got? And we got another interesting bantamweight fight to talk about here. Adrian Yanez taking on Daniel Marcos. Yanez, the underdog right now, and I think rightfully so, because all of a sudden he was a hyped up prospect. He was moving up. He's sort of the mini Masvidal, has a nasty stinging right hand, but got ranked competition against Rob Font and ran into a wall, right? Just got absolutely obliterated by Rob Font's jab. And we said, okay, fine. Rob Font's damn good. Maybe it was just too much too soon. And then he fought, who did Yanez fight next? He fought Jonathan Martinez, another pretty good fighter, but a level back, I think. Martinez just kicked his legs into oblivion. I mean, oh my God, shattered his legs with low kicks. So it just seems like, although those are two very good fighters, it seems like when he goes up against talented strikers, his striking defense does not hold up. And to me, I think Daniel Marcos is a technical guy that's going to be able to hit him. Marcos is pretty sound defensively. He's got pretty good footwork. He doesn't do anything that's going to wow you necessarily. And like that fight with Davey Grant, he's kind of inactive sometimes. So you want to see Marcos let his hands go and get going. But when he does, he shows off his talent. And I think he's just more technical than Yanez. So Yanez kind of pure boxing slick. I don't know if he gets to Marcos. That's how Yanez is going to have to beat guys, right? He's going to have to blitz them with shots and crack them. I don't see him winning decisions really. So yeah, I think Marcos outscores him. What do you think?
Yeah, I looked at this matchup last weekend, before looking at odds, and I told myself Marcos was going to be my 10-unit max bet of the week in this spot. I always told myself after that Martinez fight, the one thing I hate about Yanez is his fight IQ. He's one of those guys that he just doesn't know when to put up his hands. He's just waiting for his opportunity to get the shots. And sometimes you don't get those opportunities, like in that Rob Font fight, he was able to crack Font early, but he wasn't able to capitalize on it. And the next thing you know, his striking defense fails him again. And that Martinez fight, I just don't know how a guy doesn't check a leg kick after getting the leg chewed up for 5 minutes straight from Jonathan Martinez. And that's the one concern about Marcos, too, with going into this fight was Marcos has good leg kicks. We've seen that time and time again implemented into his game. He's a good all-around boxer. And the one concern about and that I really like about in Marco's side is his durability. He's fought all these guys 16-0, never been subbed, never been knocked out. On Yanez, he's always that type of guy. Like even in that Costa fight, Costa was putting it on him in that first round, and Yanez ended up creeping back up. A lot of those fights, he's just waiting for his opportunity. So I just don't think Marcos, he's more defensively sound. He has that leg kick. Has the grappling upside also if he wants it. So I just think this is a good spot for Marcos. But like I was saying, I was waiting to put 10 units on. I was hoping to get like minus 150, minus 160 because I thought people were going to be down on him after that Marcos fight. A lot of people were going to be up on Yanez because he's coming off that knockout against Salvador. But I guess some people are seeing a little bit what I'm seeing. So, yeah, I like Marcos in this spot.
Marcos up to minus 205. Wow, you were considering 10 units if you got a better line, but he's a big favorite now. Mr. Plus, what do you think of Yanez at this point?
Maybe I'm at an island over here. I like Adrian Yanez, boys. I really do. I remember a couple things about Adrian Yanez. You're right, Slick. His IQ's low. He's kill or be killed. This guy likes to finish or get finished. And I just don't see Daniel Marquez being a guy that can finish. He's a decision machine. Now, these guys both have split decisions over Davy Grant, who's on the same card. Maybe they'll say hello to him. But I do like the Yanez side. Don't get me wrong, not to bring up race for the third time in one pod. The Peruvian dudes are fucking lethal, man. Very, very strong group, the Peruvians. So Daniel Marcos, don't get me wrong, has his danger aspect there. But I really do like Adrian Yanez to keep the win streak going. And we were a little bit high on Salvador. I remember a lot of people were, but I took Adrian Yanez in that fight and he KO'd him. And I'm taking him again. Will he get the KO? I'm not sure. I'll tell you this. Adrian Yanez will absolutely win one round of this fight, no matter what. If he gets outpointed and outscored, maybe Daniel Marcos can win a split decision if Adrian Yanez doesn't get the finish. But I'm thinking Yanez either gets the finish and the O's got to go for Mr. Daniel Marcos, or we see a split decision and we probably get robbed.
Anticipating a robbery before it happens. That's crazy. But at this point, you have to expect it. We're still sick over Volkov. Interesting, though, two sides for that final take on Adrian Yanez versus Daniel Marcos. Good kickboxing matchup there. All right, guys, that's the Darce UFC Tampa. We did the damn thing. Fast forward, rewind, go back and watch all the takes to get all of our best bets. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out. Leave us a comment. Which fighters are you backing? Which bets are you taking? And hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching on behalf of Mr. Plus Money, Slick Montana, and Cal on the ones and twos. It's your boy Brasco Bets saying peace out. We'll see you next week.
What did she catch her with? Choke? Do you know what kind of choke?
The Darce choke.
Darce choke.
Jazz and Jazz is here. Don't forget to tap into the Darce podcast.